And it looked like Shedeur Sanders has been removed from the Browns' second-string quarterback. I am here to tell you, man, some footage was released yesterday. And what's crazy about all of this is that even me, I missed this, which is very, very rare. That is a video of Shedeur Sanders warming up. Now, I actually reported on a video of Shedeur Sanders warming up, and I actually included the video of Bailey Zappe next to Dillon Gabriel warming up there.
Cleveland just did it again. The Browns managed to turn a normal weekend into a full-blown NFL soap opera. One moment, Shedeur Sanders is the backup quarterback everyone's talking about. The next, he's quietly removed from QB2 and replaced by Bailey Zappe. Yeah, the same Bailey Zappe who sounds more like a sparkling water brand than an NFL quarterback.
In New England, looking to start a win streak for the first time since the 2023 season as they take on the Patriots Sunday afternoon. But they now have a third injury to report entering the game. On Saturday, quarterback Shedeur Sanders was added to the Browns injury report. He's dealing with back tightness. He's questionable for the game, joining tight end David Njoku, and defensive tackle Aiden Huntington is questionable. Njoku with a knee injury, Huntington in concussion protocol. The Browns elevated Bailey Zappe from the practice squad to the active roster as a precaution, but whoever is there at QB2 on Sunday, the Browns are looking to continue seeing growth from rookie Dillon Gabriel as he gears up for his fourth NFL start.
Fans didn't know whether to laugh, scream, or throw their remotes. It wasn't just a roster move. It felt like another chapter in Cleveland's long-running tradition of chaos disguised as strategy. But the reason behind it all? That's where things start getting really strange.
Quarterback one, and that's quarterback two. Now, it didn't click in my mind, I should say, that damn, Bailey Zappe has been elevated to quarterback two until I went on Twitter and seen somebody actually talk about it. Now, shortly after I seen somebody talk about this, it was actually brought to my attention that Shedeur Sanders is actually injured. Now, I know a lot of you guys is wondering, John, what are you talking about? Talking about this post right here. So this was the post that was...
The Browns were in New England, prepping for a regular game. Nothing major. Then, out of nowhere, reports dropped that Shedeur was added to the injury list. Back tightness, they said. Just like that, the young quarterback everyone wanted to see got downgraded, and Bailey Zappe was promoted to the active roster. The internet exploded. Was this a real injury, or just another Browns mystery move? Because the timing couldn't have been more suspicious. The night before, a video had surfaced showing warm-ups. Dillon Gabriel, Bailey Zappe, and yes, Shedeur Sanders.
Chance that maybe Kevin said something, even he didn't say something. That's exactly what happened today.
It's been a while since not only do we have like a text chain attached to people talking about it, but I had multiple people basically being like, you tuned in for this?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't miss it. They're boring, but I don't miss a Stefanski press conference. But it felt like it was like must-listen, appointment-listening territory here.
Yeah, I think people are conflating and maybe confusing that all Kevin Stefanski press conferences are even. They're not. The time, it's like down and distance. Not all coaching decisions are the same. The down and distance is, it's third and
But something was off. Fans noticed it before anyone in the media did. Zappe was taking reps with the second team, standing right beside Gabriel, while Shedeur was nowhere near his usual role. It wasn't announced, it wasn't explained, and no one in the organization said a word. Fans started piecing it together like detectives in a true crime documentary. Within hours, Browns Twitter turned into a crime scene investigation. Hold up, why is Zappe taking QB2 snaps? One fan posted. Screenshots, slow motion replays, zoomed in frames. People were studying Shedeur's posture like it was the Zapruder film. Every theory imaginable hit social media. Some said the Browns were hiding a deeper issue. Others believed Stefanski was pulling another power move. And then, like clockwork, the injury report dropped. Back tightness. The same back that looked perfectly fine just 24 hours ago. Convenient, right? It was like the team was trying to patch a story before fans connected the dots. And that's the Browns in a nutshell. They don't just make news, they manufacture confusion. Inside the locker room, players were reportedly just as puzzled. Shedeur had been upbeat, participating in practices, joking with teammates. Then suddenly, he's listed as questionable, and Zappe's promoted. People inside the building couldn't tell if this was real or if something political was brewing behind closed doors.
Literally hate Shedeur Sanders. Now it's being reported that he has back tightness and he's questionable for the game. Now Bailey Zappe has been moved to the active roster because they don't feel safe with Shedeur as a backup. He hasn't played a single game. Every time he's coming in or getting time to shine, there's some type of weird injury that the staff is reporting. Back tightness? Are you serious? They know that he's going to get
Because this isn't just about football anymore. It's about trust, or the lack of it. Bailey Zappe, the man who survived the Belichick quarterback carousel, now finds himself in another circus. He went from battling McJones to being Cleveland's unexpected insurance policy. Talk about whiplash. But here's where it gets even crazier. Multiple local sources claim ownership had made it clear they wanted Shedeur developed as the long-term future. Yet Stefanski, the head coach, reportedly favored Gabriel and never seemed eager to split reps.
I really want to talk about, obviously we got to address the whole Shedeur Sanders being questionable for Sunday, Bailey Zappe being elevated from practice squad. After a week where the whole, Shedeur doesn't get any QB1 reps, it's funny how all of this stuff comes about, but I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I know a lot of people's heads are already going to, Shedeur's getting traded. Not happening. However, if he
That's when fans started connecting the dots. Was this injury really a coincidence, or was it a message? Because when ownership says one thing and the coaching staff does another, somebody's going to get burned. And in Cleveland, that somebody is usually the quarterback. The fans, of course, did what Browns fans do best: meltdown with style. Memes flooded social media. One showed Shedeur wrapped in bubble wrap with the caption, "Browns medical staff's latest innovation." Or another had Bailey Zappe photoshopped as the Joker with the words, "We live in a brown society."
Practice yesterday, dancing, looking happy, moving smoothly. Then come today, he's on the injury report. Now Bailey Zappe is getting elevated to number 2. Y'all, this is not no coincidence. Y'all, first Kevin Stefanski come out this week and say he has not been getting no reps with the first string players when Dylan Gabriel was getting the first string reps when Joe Flacco was a starter. How sway? Man, I hate the Browns organization. I hate Kevin Stefanski. Y'all, I'm over this shit. Bite my hands with this shit, y'all. Why give my energy to this shit, y'all? They dog walked him. They used his name. They used his face. And then y'all treated him the worst and didn't even get.
ESPN tried to stay calm, but even analysts looked exhausted trying to explain the logic. Some said it was precautionary. Others called it a quiet demotion. Nobody knew for sure, and that's exactly how Cleveland likes it. Just enough mystery to keep everyone talking. Meanwhile, Shedeur himself stayed silent. No statement, no interviews, just quiet. And that silence spoke louder than anything else.
As the world turns in Cleveland, we just got word today that Shedeur Sanders will be out against the New England Patriots this week at home. Shedeur Sanders was the number 2 quarterback behind Dylan Gabriel, but they just activated Bailey Zappe off of the practice squad, and it looks like, for all intents and purposes, that he will be the number 2 quarterback, citing a back injury on Shedeur Sanders. We don't know what's the deal with that, but again, one more episode that gets Shedeur Sanders further away from making his first start in his game.
Because if this was just tightness, he'd be back soon. But if it wasn't, this might have been the Browns sending a message without saying a word. The thing is, Cleveland doesn't just create quarterback controversies, they live in them. The last 2 decades have been a revolving door of names, faces, and broken promises. From Baker Mayfield's swagger to Johnny Manziel's downfall, it's like the franchise is cursed to repeat the same movie over and over. And the fans? They're the ones watching it unfold again, popcorn in hand, hoping this time it ends differently.
He's going to get sacked maybe 5 to 6 times. He's going to throw a pick, and he's just not going to be able to handle that Patriots defense. It's going to be obvious that he's not the person for the job. But instead, they're going to bring up Bailey Zappe to maybe let him come in when it gets out of control for Dylan Gabriel. They hate Shedeur so much that they don't even want him to come in the game at any instance.
But this Shedeur saga feels different. It's quieter, more calculated, almost like something's being hidden in plain sight. When the warm-up footage leaked, nobody thought much of it. But when the injury news hit right after, it started to look less like coincidence and more like choreography.
Business is it when you got a 5'9" quarterback running around and could twist an ankle, and Shedeur would have to play Sunday in Foxborough, and he's not getting any reps. That seems like bad preparation, no?
It does. You wouldn't question it if you know you had a backup.
If it was Kelly Holcomb, yeah, right. If it was, yeah, right. I wouldn't. It's not. It's a kid they haven't. He hasn't taken first-round team reps with anybody yet.
It's almost like, you know, the coach is saying, okay.
Because behind the scenes, things were bubbling. Ownership reportedly wanted Shedeur to start getting legitimate QB2 reps weeks ago. They saw him as the next step after Gabriel, young, marketable, and full of potential. But inside the locker room, Stefanski's coaching decisions told a different story. Gabriel kept getting all the starter reps, and Zappe, not Shedeur, was the one quietly rising. That friction between the front office and coaching staff has been building for weeks. And this injury situation? It might have just been the spark. Fans began to wonder if Shedeur's tightness was really a way to sideline the problem rather than solve it. Because that's what Cleveland does when things get uncomfortable. They hide it behind an injury report. The Browns' PR machine knows how to calm chaos by pretending it's all under control. But it never is, especially not in this city. By now, national sports shows were jumping in. Analysts on ESPN debated whether Shedeur's confidence was being sabotaged. Some even called it character assassination by injury. Others said it's all part of Cleveland's grand tradition of overcomplicating everything. And they're not wrong. Only the Browns could turn a backup quarterback reshuffle into a full-blown national conspiracy. Inside the fanbase, the stages of grief were on full display. Anger, denial, bargaining, acceptance. All before kickoff.
He's been pretty unremarkable, and we're starting to hear some of the development that the Browns are telling the local reporters.
This has been my whole point the entire time, was that this was always going to happen this way, and we started to see it 2 weeks ago, and now we're seeing it last week, and now you're seeing it again today. The idea that once you start to see who Dillon Gabriel is, and they start to see who Dillon Gabriel is, they're going to try to take some credit for Shedeur Sanders. This is it. This is their saving grace, is the idea that they're going to try to make it seem as if Shedeur was not even close to ready previously, and now all of a sudden, voila.
1 minute they were calling for Stefanski's job. The next, they were convincing themselves Zappe might secretly be elite. It's the Browns cycle. Hope, heartbreak, repeat. What makes this story sting more is how close Shedeur was to finally breaking through. Every time he gets near that moment, something stops him. A tweak, a rumor, a sudden coaching change. It's like there's an invisible wall between him and opportunity. Fans can feel it. Even players can feel it. It's as if every ounce of progress comes with a built-in setback. Maybe it's bad luck. Maybe it's Cleveland's DNA. But whatever it is, it's exhausting.
Matter a lot more. I'm still to the point where I'd be surprised if anyone gets moved on from ownership or from San Diego Pollard by anybody else before the end of the season. But I don't know how long that's going to last, because it does feel like there's a couple inflection points. There's a couple of pressure points where things are bubbling up to the surface. One, just being losing and being 1-4. Two, the quarterback position. And then three, I really do think like the impact that losing's having on this locker room. I think nothing is more fascinating than what do you do with a backup quarterback, which speaks volumes about how people feel about Dillon Gabriel.
Well, and so this is what's going to be really interesting moving forward. We know what Jimmy Haslam said before the season got underway. We know that he said that he wanted to see both Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders, and you're kind of watching in real time as it feels like Stefanski is going against what his owner and what his boss has initially put out there.
Still, Browns fans don't quit. They show up, they scream, and they believe. Even when logic tells them not to. That loyalty is what makes this all so frustrating. Because they deserve better than mysteries and vague injury updates. They deserve clarity, but clarity doesn't sell headlines, and Cleveland's mastered the art of chaos marketing. Even now, as Bailey Zappe suits up as QB2, everyone's asking the same question. What happens if Gabriel struggles? Does Shedeur return magically healthy? Does the injury suddenly disappear when the team needs him most? It's only a matter of time before we find out. But here's the scary part. This probably isn't the last twist, not in Cleveland. Because if there's one thing the Browns have taught us, it's that calm never lasts. The moment things look stable, the next headline drops. Maybe Shedeur really does have back tightness. Maybe he's fine and the staff just panicked. Or maybe, just maybe, this was all part of something bigger. Another internal storm disguised as a health precaution. Whatever the truth is, it won't stay hidden for long. Because in Cleveland, peace is temporary, drama is permanent, and the next twist is probably already warming up on the sidelines. Fans will keep watching, the media will keep guessing, and the Browns will keep being the Browns. You can't script chaos like this, unless you're Cleveland. And the scariest part? This might not even be the final twist.
It needs to investigate the Cleveland Browns at this point. So as we all know, they traded Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, an in-division rival. Dylan Gabriel is their starter, so that leaves backup, which is most likely should be Shedeur Sanders. Kevin Stefanski came out today and said, yeah, they haven't decided who the backup quarterback is going to be between Shedeur Sanders and Bailey Zappe. Are you kidding me? Bailey Zappe? The New England Patriots Bailey Zappe?